DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.
Hello and welcome to DETV News, Delaware's trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson. The minimum wage in Delaware will rise over the next 4 years, and a holiday celebrated for many years here in the first state has become a national holiday. But topping this week's news is the indictment of members of an alleged murderous gang from Wilmington's North Side. Here with that story is reporter Matt Ford.
Our hearts are with the families who have suffered the greatest loss and borne the terrible weight of gun violence.
Somber words coming from Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings after 14 young men were indicted this week on more than 120 criminal charges, including 6 murders, stemming from their involvement in a Wilmington area gang called North Pack. Members of the North Pack gang are charged with committing dozens of crimes between November of 2018 and April of this year. 4 adults and 3 juveniles are charged with first-degree murder. Officials say these indictments are a step toward justice for victims' families.
Gun violence has devastated families across this city, across this state, and across our nation. Gangs in our cities have played an outsized role in that carnage.
Wilmington Police Chief Robert Tracy said the indictments are the result of the work of the Group Violence Intervention Program. Last year, Wilmington Police made a record number of gun arrests with more than 300 people arrested on gun charges.
But nothing is more critical in terms of partnerships than that between law enforcement and the communities that we serve. There's an urgency in the state of Delaware, not just the city of Wilmington, in the entire state of Delaware, for communities and police to come together. There's an urgency for the community to come forward and to help us to solve these violent crimes that are taking place day in and day out.
Chief Bond said that when he started the job 30 years ago, homicides happened during the midnight hours because criminals didn't think that anyone would be able to catch them. Now, he says, you can have a homicide happen in broad daylight with multiple witnesses present and no one saying a word. And that, he says, emboldens and empowers these criminals. The indictment is the culmination of a 6-month investigation between the FBI, the Delaware Department of Justice, and Wilmington and Newcastle County Police Departments. Just this week, another fatal shooting here in Wilmington, this time a 14-year-old boy, bringing the total number of shootings this year so far to 69, 14 of them fatal. Reporting from Hedgeville, I'm Matt Ford, DETV News.
Thanks, Matt. As the legislative year winds down in Dover, we can expect a flurry of activity. This week, the General Assembly gave final approval of a bill to increase Delaware's minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. The bill was sponsored by Stanton Democratic Senator Jack Walsh and was approved along party lines. Many Republicans opposed the increase, saying it would harm businesses. Governor John Carney is expected to sign the bill soon, according to a spokesman. The bill raises the minimum wage from its current $9.25 an hour to $15 over the next 4 years at a rate of $1 each year. Some places are already offering the $15 wage to attract workers. One group pushing for higher wages is called the Delaware Poor People's Campaign. Members held a news conference calling for sweeping legislation that would usher in changes for the economy, environment, poverty, and racial injustice. Stay with us during the break. There's more news ahead.
listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
We're doing a lot of talking here in Washington, in the Senate, about infrastructure. What's that really mean? Well, if we move forward on the bipartisan infrastructure plan that I'm supporting, that's going to mean millions more dollars for Delaware and Delawareans to improve Amtrak and SEPTA, to improve our roads and bridges up and down the state, to make sure we've got better access to broadband so that your cell phone calls don't drop as you drive up and down the state, so that kids can get access to Wi-Fi for school, and we can take advantage of telemedicine. I'm excited about a $580 billion new proposal for infrastructure for this country, but more than anything, I'm interested about how this will create good, high-paying jobs in Delaware and make our state easier to live in, more equitable and just, and more accessible in this digital age. For more information, go to my website, coons.senate.gov. Thanks.
Delaware's major hospitals are not requiring workers to be vaccinated despite other prominent health systems in the region doing so. About 70% of Christiana Care employees have reportedly received the vaccine. St. Francis officials say roughly 75% of its employees are fully vaccinated. In his weekly news briefing, Governor Carney said about 7,000 Delawareans need to be vaccinated to reach the national goal of 70% by July 4th. But the pace of the vaccinations continues to slow down in Delaware. So the chief executive says hitting that benchmark will be a big stretch.
Our throughput doesn't decline too much further. The demand for first doses has declined. We've got a lot of people that are coming in for their second dose, but we need to get those first doses to push that number from 69.1% up to 70%. It seems like it's an easy milestone to reach until you consider that 7,000 people, 7,000 shots that have to go into people's arms. So a lot of work, a lot of people that have to get vaccinated.
Several prominent healthcare systems such as Johns Hopkins and the University of Pennsylvania have announced they will require employees to get their shots. In a statement, Christiana Care said they will continue to monitor the situation. A lack of transparency and accountability in drug pricing could be costing taxpayers millions. That's according to a report by Delaware Auditor Kathy McGinnis. This week, McGinnis called on Express Scripts to pay back the $24.5 million she says it overcharged the state of Delaware for its state employees' prescription drug plan from 2018 through 2020. Delaware reportedly paid 3 times the average price of drugs over the course of 3 years for state employee prescriptions, with McGinnis calling that an abuse of taxpayers' dollars that should be returned to Delawareans. Arrest and ticketing quotas are now illegal in the city of Wilmington. Police Chief Robert Tracy says his department does not currentally require officers to make quotas for tickets and arrests, but City Council voted to ban them anyway. Lone Republican Councilman James Spadola, a former police officer, sponsored the bill. He says it will prevent quotas from being established under a future police chief and gets rid of the perception that there could be quotas now. Spadola hopes the city's measure will eventually become state law. Council also approved a resolution recognizing the need to start a new police academy to fill vacancies, despite opposition from some council members, protesting what they say as insufficient diversity on the force and calling for social workers and mental health clinicians to replace some officers. To Sussex County now, the Indian River coal-fired plant, now operated by NRG, is slated to close by June of next year. The Millsboro plant provided jobs for many in the area and has enough capacity to support an estimated 600,000 homes. NRG says the closing is difficult but necessary because of low market prices. Staying in Sussex County, the community-wide cleanup being held this Saturday will go well beyond trash talk. Besides sprucing up Georgetown, the 8-hour event will be littered with food, fun and entertainment, along with mobile COVID-19 vaccinations. The event is sponsored by Georgetown DE Community. Underlying the theme will be togetherness and a mission to unify the town's Black, white, and Hispanic communities. For more information, check out the website on the bottom of your screen. The first national holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day was enacted last week when President Biden signed a law making Juneteenth a national holiday. Juneteenth celebrates the emancipation of the last enslaved African Americans in Texas who got the word some 2.5 years after Lincoln officially ended slavery. Local organizers who have been working to make Juneteenth a state holiday said it was the right thing to do at the right time.
It's all about timing, for sure. It's all about timing. It is. And that Black Lives Matter movement really turned America around. And with Juneteenth, it was almost, I guess they were thinking like it was kind of like a no-brainer. Okay, now is the time.
Numerous events were held last Saturday to observe Juneteenth. The celebrations were extra special for longtime local advocates who praised the president for responding to their call to turn Juneteenth into a national holiday. And just in time for Juneteenth, the YMCA unveiled a new 80-foot-long mural at the Walnut Street branch on June 19th, which celebrates important African Americans. The new Teen Innovation Center was also dedicated with a ribbon cutting and a block party afterwards featuring the YMCA drill team, dance performances, vendors, and food. The Mural and Innovation Center were funded by Discover Financial, which provided a $167,000 donation. The mural includes images of Cap Calloway, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Marvelettes. We'll be back after taking a look at the weather right after this break. Stay tuned.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
As July quickly approaches, Wilmington City pools and spray parks welcome those who need to cool off. City pools were closed last year, but they are now all staffed with Red Cross certified lifeguards and cleaning personnel to curb the possible spread of the COVID infection. The open pools are located at Eden Park, Brown Burton Winchester Park, and the William Hicks Anderson Center. The spray parks are located all over Wilmington. You can find spray parks for young children at Woodlawn Park, Helen Chambers Park, and Mack Park, just to name a few. A full list of all parks and their hours of operations can be found at wilmingtonde.gov. Speaking of summer, what can bring back memories of days on the sand and hot summer nights better than a cold can of Dewey's Beach's New Orange Crush? The brew has sparked such a thirst that local liquor stores have been running out. Here with more on that story is reporter Grace Otley.
Hey there, it's Grace Otley with DETV News, and we're here at Pico's Liquor Store, where we're tasting and talking about the new drink, the Dewey Crush. That's a spin-off of the Orange Crush, but we're going to talk to the manager about why this drink is so popular. I'm here with Damien, the assistant manager, and I want to talk to you about the Dewey Crush. What is the Dewey Crush? Where did it come from? And is it really that popular?
Well, it's a vodka-based drink. It's started at Starboard Bar down in Dewey. You used to only be able to get it there. It's a very popular cocktail. It's basically orange juice, vodka. It's a very simple thing, but they originated it. When it first came out, I had no idea how popular it was going to be. I ordered, I think, 10 cases of each kind. By that night, we had sold out.
So I'm here with a customer, and we noticed her buying the Dewey Crush. Can you tell us, was this the first time you've gotten it? Have you tried it before?
This is actually the first time I've gotten it. I've had it at Dewey at the Starboard, and it's classic. So when I saw it was in a can, I was like, I have to buy this. And so I was so excited when Pico's posted yesterday, and I was like, oh, I have to go. So luckily, they still have plenty left, so I was so excited.
Well, you heard it here. This is the summer's hottest new pick, the Dewey Crush. I tried it, and I wouldn't lie to you, it was fantastic. So I hope you get to try yours today at Pico's Liquor Store on 522 Philadelphia Pike. I'm Grace Otley with DETV. Back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Grace. Stay with us. We'll have local sports when we come back.
The COVID-19 vaccines are going to help us all get back to the moments we miss.
It's totally normal to have questions. I did too. That's why it's so important to get informed.
Ask your doctor and get the facts. It's up to you.
Well, first you need to know it's okay for you to have that dream. You hopefully find someone that's been there. They show you the knowledge, give you the confidence. I mean, it's still hard work, but everything's better with someone at your side. And what better way than junior achievement? I call that success.
We're back, and here with DETV's local sports is Nick Alessandrini. Nick?
Thanks, Lauren. It was a beautiful night Friday for the return of the DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Football Game. It was the 65th time the Blue and Gold teams would battle it out for an event that was bigger than football. This year, the C&D Canal was the cutoff point, with schools below the canal being a part of the Gold team, and schools north of the canal would play for Blue. Also, a battle of brothers as the Blums were leading the way this year, as head AI football coach Zeb Blum would be the frontman for the Blue team, while his brother from Middletown High School, Zach Blum, would be the coach of the Gold. Both teams would get after it early in this one, but it was Qualique Bembry from Dover that would open up the scoring in the first. A 1-yard touchdown run on 4th and goal for the Gold team would give them a 7-0 lead. The Blue team would answer in the second as 2019 Delaware Player of the Year, and Hodson Silver Eagle quarterback C.J. Henry would find Howard All-State receiver Tyre Spencer for a 27-yard touchdown down the right sideline to tie the game at 7. On to the second half, and the Gold team would go back in front with the help of a Smyrna tandem. Quarterback Aiden Sanchez would look and find his man and fellow Eagle Jermaine Earl for a 17-yard score to break the tie, 14-7 Gold. Then later in the game, the Gold team would seal the victory as Sussex Central safety Sean McGee would read the quarterback's eyes and pick off a pass across the middle. He would return 17 yards for the score, and the Gold team would hold on for a 21-13 win. Smyrna quarterback Aiden Sanchez was voted most outstanding player, and Sussex Central center Caden Collins earned most outstanding lineman honors. The Gold team has now won 4 consecutive years. Cape Henlopen graduate and Northwestern midfielder Aliyah Marshall was selected by Team USA to be a part of the 21-22 national field hockey team. The Rehoboth Beach native is one of 36 players that will help Team USA attempt to qualify for the 22 World Cup in Chile. Now we all know Stan Waterman has accepted the Delaware State basketball job after 28 years leading the way at Sanford, but the Warriors have found their next basketball head coach. Former University of Delaware basketball point guard Tyrone Perry will take over for the Sanford basketball program. Perry graduated from Delaware in '99 and played for head coach Mike Bray. Perry's coaching resume includes assistant coaching roles with the University of Delaware men's and women's teams, as well as with the Mount St. Mary's University men's program. Upon returning to Delaware, Perry served as the executive director of the McLaughlin Dream Chasers program and is currently the athletic director and teen engagement coordinator at the Clarence Frame Boys and Girls Club. Former Delaware track and field cross-country star and current Nova Wildcat Lydia Oliveri had another impressive performance in the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the Olympic trials earlier this week. The Padua graduate earned her spot by breaking the record for the 3rd time in her career. Oliveri finished with a time of 10:3:13 to finish 13th in her first-round heat and 28th overall. It was the 3rd fastest time of her season, and Oliveri now owns the 4 fastest steeplechase times in school history. Now, the Goloff brothers, they continued their hot run in the College World Series for the University of Virginia this week. The Cavaliers lost a tough one on Tuesday night in Game 2 of that World Series, a 65 loss to Mississippi State, but the former Cape graduates, they did their thing. Zach Goloff went 3 for 4 with 2 runs and an RBI, and Jake Goloff went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Virginia will battle back tonight when they play Texas in an elimination game. Now we go to our top plays of the week, courtesy of Delaware Live Sports, as we have wrapped up our high school sports for this season. So now we will play some of our top plays of the year, and we will begin with some winter sports. We're going to get started on the hardwood here at number 4, Smyrna basketball. Elijah Cradle and Moose Salaku here. 2 plays for the price of 1. Cradle going to have it in transition off the glass, and here comes Salaku going to throw it down with 2 hands. And then out on to another play a little bit later in the game. Cradle out on the perimeter. Going to launch it up. Coming baseline is Moose Salaku. Another alley-oop. This one also with 2 hands and 2 big plays there for Smyrna at number 4. On to number 3. It's more Padua Panda news, and Kate McLennan up 10 over here in the winner over St. Mark's. 3 seconds on the inbound. She'll take it, launch it up from half court, and it goes off the glass for Padua's Kate McLennan. And a big play there for number 3 at the Pandas. On to number 2. It's Archmere basketball. Chris Albero. You see him on lacrosse out in the spring. Here he is in the winter on the hardwood. Pull-up jumper at the buzzer gives Archmere the 1-point victory. Again, you'll see it here from the sideline angle. Here he goes, elevates mid-range, got it to go. A game winner for Chris Albero, and Archmere with the win at the buzzer at number 2. On to number 1, Kyer Hines, and more buzzer beater action. This time it's the DMA Seahawks 63-63. DMA inbounding, 6 seconds to go. Jordan Green, top of the key, looking for Hines, who comes on the wing. Going to take a little step up, elevate from the top of the key, and buries it. Kyer Hines with a 3 at the buzzer for the win for DMA at home. And that's our top play here this week, and one of our top plays of the season. And that'll do it for our top plays of the week. Now I'll send it back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Nick. The Dover Police Department and the Dover Police Athletic League kicked off their annual Youth Police Academy this week. The program is designed to introduce children to law enforcement and give them a unique perspective on what police officers really do, with hopes to build positive relationships with kids in the community while helping them develop leadership skills. Some of the activities include teaching the kids about criminal investigation and age-appropriate crime scene investigations, along with team-building exercises, and tomorrow, graduation. The 5-day program was open to children ages 10 to 12 and was completely free, including meals provided by Capital School District. From the looks of it, the kids had a great time. Robert Burns, a local World War II veteran from Newark who will turn 101 years old in August, was honored with a Quilt of Honor on June 19th at the Crown Plaza on Namans Road. But what exactly is a Quilt of Valor? A Quilt of Valor is a handmade quilt given to service members or veterans who have been touched by the war. Quilts of Valor are meant to thank and comfort members for their service and their sacrifice for serving the nation. Well, that's our news for this week. In review, I'm Lauren Wilson for the DETV News Team. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.